Hello, everyone. My name is Celeste Kitsemetry, and I just want to advise that we are now live with this technical meeting, and a recording has begun. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's neighborhood meeting. I am the senior planner with the City of Barrie Development Services Department. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to present to you the neighborhood, a development concept being considered by the owner and development team of Park Place Retail Village. Prior to formal development application being submitted to the city, this provides an opportunity for the development team to hear initial community feedback and incorporate it into their plans prior to making a full and formal development application to the city. Please be aware that we are recording this meeting for the public record. This recording will be used for the process of garnering your input and to respond to inquiries. Just going to change the slide, sorry. The intent of tonight's meeting is to provide members of the public with an opportunity to become familiar with the development application and the planning review process, and to also ask the applicant questions and to provide feedback. With this virtual neighborhood meeting, you are to expect a brief overview of the city's review process and timing, a presentation from the applicant's representative describing the proposal, and an opportunity to ask questions of either the applicant or city staff and provide comments or identify concerns with the application. What you should not expect from this meeting is that city staff will provide recommendations on the application or a detailed analysis on this proposal, as this will occur later in the development review process. Nor should you expect a debate on the merits of the proposal between city staff and the applicant. Before we get into the presentation, I just want to quickly highlight the next steps in the application process. This neighborhood meeting is established early in the development process to ensure local concerns are incorporated or addressed through the city's review. After this meeting, we expect that the applicant will make a formal application submission for the development project. Formal submissions undergo a full technical review and must address comments received from this neighborhood meeting, from the city's technical departments and external agencies, and from members of the public more broadly. In connection with this, a statutory public meeting will be held virtually on the application at Planning Committee. At the public meeting, applicants present their application to council, answer questions, and provide an overview of and response to any issues or concerns identified during the neighborhood meeting and prior to the neighborhood meeting if additional consultation is had. As part of the public meeting, members of the public will also have the opportunity to provide verbal and written comments during that process. Following a public meeting, staff will continue the technical review process and the applicants will make any necessary revisions to the development proposal. Once the review process has concluded, a staff recommendation report is brought forward to council for their consideration. All comments received throughout the review process, including those received at the neighborhood and public meetings, are identified and addressed in the staff report and form part of the staff's recommendation on the subject application. A staff report for this particular application would likely be brought forward to council sometime in 2022. I will now move on to the applicant's presentation. As I mentioned, the proposed project and application will be presented first, which we will follow with a question and comment period. So tonight we are focusing on the official plan and rezoning at proposal at 109 Park Place Boulevard. The applicant's planner is Darren Vella from Innovative Planning Solutions. And the proposal is to add high-rise residential development to the Park Place Retail Village. I will now hand the meeting control over to Darren, who will first introduce themselves and then share their presentation on the proposed development. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Okay, great. So Celeste, can you see the presentation? Okay, great. Okay, so everyone, so as I mentioned, my name's Darren Vella. Just before I get started, I just want to introduce a few other members of our team. So joining me this evening on behalf of North American is Ron Richards from RJ Richards and Associates. And we also have with us Ali Hamdi from Petroff Partnership Architects, who has designed the proposal and is here to describe the concept to those that are joining us this evening. So we're very, very pleased to be here. And we wanted to start off by just a general description of the subject site. So I'm sure most of you are aware that the Park Place Retail Village is located in the northeast corner of the intersection of Mapleview Drive and Highway 400. So it's got frontages actually along 3 roads, Provincial Highway 400 to the west, Mapleview Drive to the south, and Bayview Drive to the east. And currently there is a variety of different commercial uses within the village. What you see highlighted in red is the area that we are proposing to introduce residential uses as part of the proposed application. So in looking at the surrounding context from a radius perspective, we took a look at uses within a 250-meter radius of the proposed development site, and then from a 500-meter walking radius. The majority of those uses within those 2 radiuses are commercial in nature. I also wanted to point out that there are some uses that are not showing up on this slide just based on the age of the aerial photography. And one of those in particular that I wanted to highlight is the retirement home that's constructed on the northern portion of the retail village. We also wanted to point out for those listening this evening that there is also a proposed hotel use that will be shortly coming, hopefully, that will be constructed beside the existing Cabela's retail store, which would be in the northwest corner of the proposed retail site. Outside of the subject property, and more importantly, on the subject property located beside the LA Fitness building is the Barrie Transit South Terminal Hub. So we wanted to point out the importance of the transit system that has been built and is in place that services all of South Barrie. This transit hub is critical in terms of contemplating the introduction of residential uses on the property. So we wanted to highlight that as a focal point. Outside of the property, other uses that would be complementary to a residential uses being introduced on this site would be the Barrie Dog Leash Recreation Area that is located just off of Bayview and beside the Sadlin Center. And that would also be another facility that would greatly benefit from having people located within walking distance for the different events that are occurring at the Sadlin Center on an annual basis. So outside of that, we just listed some of the major retail uses. There is a Rona and a Costco, as well as on the other side of the 400, there is a Home Depot, and then Smart Centers has a large commercial facility, including Walmart and Sobeys grocery store. In terms of the current official plan designation for the property, the Park Place Retail Village is designated as general commercial, and it is subject to Special Policy Area R, and that is a section in the official plan which we've highlighted here in case anyone wanted to take a read. It's section 4.8.9.1. From a zoning perspective, the lands are currently zoned general commercial with special provisions. And once again, if you were to flip through the city zoning bylaw and turn to SP-304, you would find the specific provisions that have basically allowed Park Place to develop in the form that it exists today. So the applications that are being contemplated for this development, there is a potential for there to be an official plan amendment. And the reason why that hasn't been fully determined yet is because the city is in the midst of approving a new official plan. And so we just want to understand which official plan will have bearings on that application. So there may be the need for an official plan amendment application and there may not. From a zoning bylaw amendment perspective, we know that there will need to be an application to amend the zoning. And what we are proposing to do here is just modify the special provisions under the general commercial zone to allow for the proposed development. So with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Ali. So Ali, I will control the slide. So if you just want to let me know when you want to move to the next slide, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate that. And good evening, everyone. My name is Ali Hamdi. I'm a partner at Petroff Partnership Architects. We are the legacy architectural firm that has worked on this property really since its inception. The Park Place Master Plan is centered around the theme of a main street right in the heart of the property. It's a district where the outdoor public areas emphasize pedestrian-friendly environments and well-appointed and accessible public spaces that really add up to a unique open-air shopping experience. From the very beginning, our vision for this property was to see it develop in a mixed-use fashion. And so when we started to look at the idea of introducing a residential component into Park Place, of course, we looked at a number of locations around the property, but in the end, for this initial step towards mixed use, we decided the residential component really should be weaved right into the village district. This illustration you see is a blown-up site plan of the new development within the village district. And the smaller inset plan is a key plan showing the proposed development in the context of the overall master plan. When complete, this new community will emerge from two of the last undeveloped parcels along Park Place's village district and will be made up of 2 residential buildings with active at-grade uses complemented by new landscape amenity areas, all integrated into the overall master plan. Of course, these are early days in terms of process, but with respect to development statistics, conceptually, the total residential build-out will be approximately 345,000 square feet over 3 phases, with an anticipated 475 units planned. Residential parking will be located exclusively below grade, while resident visitor parking and patron retail parking will continue to be located at grade. Next slide, Dan. This aerial view to the northeast shows the proposed massing configuration. 2 6-story residential buildings are proposed to be positioned parallel to the north-south axis of the village main street, with extensions to the east towards Bayview that terminate at a north and a south point block tower. The heights of those are 16 and 12 stories respectively. The building's extensions that link the 6-story blocks to the point block towers will be 5 stories in height with semi-private rooftop resident amenity terraces. Next slide, Darren. The residential blocks fronting onto the village have been deliberately sized in terms of street length and height to be compatible with the existing village's pedestrian scale and are suitably proportional to the 40-meter wide village boulevard. We believe this approach is best for maintaining the current village open air experience and walkability while facilitating proper building height transition. Next slide, please. Proper building height transition to the village is further achieved by locating the taller residential point block towers furthest away from the village. By keeping heights lower along the village frontage, the 6-story blocks can still contribute to the street character in an interesting and positive way, while mitigating the impact of deep shadows sometimes associated with the taller residential blocks. Durable premium finishes are planned for all the new residential buildings. These finishes will be in line with the look and character of the material palette you see today on the facades of the retail village buildings. Next slide, please. The village district of Park Place has been designed from a pedestrian perspective with walkable streets, principal entrances, and active storefronts, and is very well suited to support residential intensification. We believe, in fact, the village district will become even more vibrant and even more engaging with the addition of the proposed residential blocks and their associated public areas. Our goal in designing the new residential blocks is to further enhance and to add to the village's already wonderfully landscaped public sidewalks, amenities, parkettes, plazas, and patios, all of which will benefit from the natural surveillance and overlook that the new residential will offer by way of upper story apartment windows, balconies, and rooftop amenity terraces. Next slide, Darren, please. Residential blocks fronting on the village will maintain the same active retail and restaurant uses at grade that is consistent throughout the existing main street. And with the expansion to the east, we will create a new opportunity to extend the commercial frontage to meet the new East Point Block towers. The village expansion east allows us to improve and reinforce existing village connections to Bayview, as well as other on-site locations like the Barrie Transit Bus Hub and LA Fitness. We are really excited about the idea of introducing alternative residential typologies to this established lifestyle center, and the synergies that will be created with the many shops and services that will be accessible from the new residents' doorsteps. Next slide, please. In fact, the Park Place master plan has numerous pedestrian connections and linkages to many community-oriented amenities, all within a 15-minute walk from the proposed residential development. Darren mentioned a few of them earlier, but they, of course, include many popular shops and restaurants and services, a 20-acre naturalized park, the on-site bus hub, and the Barrie Colts skating and entertainment complex. These connections and linkages form a framework the Park Place master plan is built on, and is one that supports our vision for mixed use for this center over the long term by being seamlessly compatible with residential intensification and the enhanced outdoor spaces that we will create to make those developments a success, such as this example, a proposed Pocket Park located right off of the village main street. These new public spaces will complement the existing public areas that already exist around the property, including areas where new residents can gather outdoors year-round and enjoy, for example, events hosted by the property, such as Christmas tree lighting ceremonies, live music concerts by the outdoor fireplace, and outdoor movie nights under the stars. Next slide, Darren, please. And so in closing, I'd like to say that as a team, we are very excited to advance this opportunity to bring residential intensification to Park Place through our continued consultation with city planning staff and the community. Our goal for this property is to see it continue to thrive and to evolve through higher buildings and greater densities into a true mixed-use complete community that will support the future growth and longevity of this very popular regional shopping destination at the south end of Barrie. So I'm going to pause there. Thank you for your attention.